Hey everyone, it's JamesKisau. It's Teddy, aka JamesKisau on MTGO. Coming to you with another Grixis Control video. About to play through a league here in the middle of a heat wave up in the Pacific Northwest. So if I make some mistakes, it's the heat. Anyways, a couple big things happened in Legacy this week. Mind's Desire got unbanned in the format, and also Creative Technique got added to MTGO, which is a really powerful combo card. Essentially, this deck, I believe some call it Mississippi River. Their whole deck is just soul lands, the depletion lands, lands that tap for 2. They just want to get to 6 mana, throw a Cascader on the stack, and then Creative Technique will give them another Cascader, and then eventually they'll cast Emrakul. And something those two cards are both doing are casting spells without paying their mana cost. So if you look over to the sideboard here, I'm going to try out Roiling Vortex. First line of text here, it's a classic Vortex effect if you're familiar with Sulfuric Vortex from Scourge. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, the Vortex deals 1 damage to them. But the second line here is what's kind of interesting. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, they take a Lava Axe, 5 damage to that player, which is pretty significant. It's a quarter of your starting life total. So I'm going to be looking to leverage that, really punish Mind's Desire and Creative Technique. I mean, we're not going to surprise anyone with this. There's no way to flash this thing in, but while it's on the battlefield, it might just deter them from going off, and then we can get over the line with beats. Speaking of which, I'm trying K's of Chaos Adventure again. It's the 4-drop that clocks really darn fast, so I'll be trying that out. I like its synergy with Kolaghan's Command to pick it back up. I don't like that it dies to Lightning Bolt, but we'll see if that is. We'll see how problematic that is. There's nothing else too crazy about the list. Nimble Obstructionist is back. It's a good time for that one in a world of Storm triggers. Demonstrate triggers, or more significantly Cascade triggers, honestly. Another card that synergizes great with Kolaghan's Command, and everyone knows I love it. It's a great card. I know people make fun of me a lot for it, but I think it's good. And then I'm back up to 3 Bowmasters. I've kind of been realizing Bowmasters does solve a lot of problems for Grixis Control. Just being anyone who plays Baleful Strix decks know that every point of damage counts, and attacking for 1 each turn with Baleful Strix, it can really add up when Legacy games, especially grindy games, are won on such thin margins. With Bowmasters, we add 2 power to the board at flash speed, so being able to push for damage more consistently has been a big boon. Originally, I didn't know if Bowmasters was really a good card for Grixis Control, and now I'm sort of leading more in the other direction, but I still think we're still kind of testing in earnest right now. Running 3 Thoughtseize main, something I never do really. I'm honestly more, if in a perfect world, I'd rather run like 0 to 1 Thoughtseize, maybe 1 in the sideboard or a 1-on-1 split. But I anticipate seeing a lot of combo decks this league, so I'm just gonna run 3 main board and see if that gives us a proactive turn 1 play that helps us out. And I think that's about it. Oh, one other thing about Roiling Vortex is that I've wanted to have a hate card for the Rhino Cascade deck for a while because it's a pretty bad matchup for Grixis Control. Not only do they have a really good fair plan with like Minsk and Boo on the top end and Force of Will and stuff like that, their ability to cascade into Crashing Footfalls and add 8 power to the board that tramples no less in 4/4 chunk sizes, which outclasses Lightning Bolt. It's a tough matchup, so I'm happy to finally have some way to, or I'm happy to have like a card I can finally bring in against them. Ooh, yeah, it's hot out here, but I'm going to do my best. Stick with me. It should be a fun league. I don't know if Roiling Vortex has seen much play in Legacy outside of burn decks, so should be interesting. Let's get to it. Welcome to the video, everyone. Winning the die roll, great way to start. This hand is not too crazy. We have a Lightning Bolt for early interaction, but no red mana. But we also have Cling to Dust, and we have Force of Will. I'm inclined to keep this. And opponent's also on 7. Let's play around Wasteland and also keep them off the scent here. Basic Swamp rarely means a blue control deck. Ooh, Badlands. And Faithless Looting. Okay. Cling to Dust is going to line up super well if this is indeed Reanimator, who I think would normally start like this. It could be Madness. Ooh, Hogak and Gravecrawler. This is quite interesting. So yeah, I think we're looking at a classic Hogak deck here. Shieldred Edict might be really terrible, or it might snipe a Hogak if they just have a bunch of Bridge from Below tokens alongside of it. And then Brazen Borrower can sometimes bounce Hogak as well, so we'll see. Is this going to be an Altar of Dementia? Stitcher Supplier. There are worlds in which forcing this is correct just because it's such a strong enabler. We're not going to have a lot of other great targets for Force of Will. And if they play another creature, they can cast Hogak. I think I just need to let this resolve though. See what it flips. Ah, Vengevine. Then they can cast Gravecrawler. I always forget this is a zombie. Okay, so I think what we should do is... Oh, it's Carrion Feeder. Well, let's start by casting Cling on Vengevine. And then I think we force Carrion Feeder and then just let this hit us for 1 for the rest of the game. Which begs the question, do we need to keep Brazen Borrower so he can deliver said beats? Or if we draw a land next turn, is Snap Cling to Dust just something we need to have access to? I probably can't afford to flashback Cling to Dust. I think it needs to be around as long as possible. And we have to win the game somehow, and I think having a flying 3/1 attacker is the way to go. Alright, we held off Hogak for 1 turn at least. There's land number 3. Alright, not feeling very optimistic. That's usually how game 1 against these all-in graveyard decks goes. There's another Carrion Feeder right away. So I'm guessing we should just... Well, we can't stop the Gravecrawler from arriving either. So what would I rather? Lightning Bolt is the question. And I guess it didn't matter too much if I hit Gravecrawler or Vengevine with Cling to Dust. I think Vengevine was just going to hasten the clock. So I guess what I should do is cast Edict on the Supplier and then Bolt Carrion Feeder with Gravecrawler on the stack. It's not great, but we can't let a giant 8/8 trample come in, can we? Can we let it happen? Then they get more graveyard synergy. Another Hogak, okay. Could be worse. Could have been a, Vengevine. Then fill out our colors. Double blue. Lightning Bolt. It's possible their hand sucks. You never know. Uh-oh. Looks like they have a 1-drop. Ah, Dried Arbor, yep. That is a good tech for these decks. There it is. Titular Hogak. Alright, a removal spell could be nice. Lightning Bolt, sure. I think we'll probably go after the Arbor, right? Gravecrawler is just so recurable. Then we'll put this back in the hand. And then hopefully they'll just, I don't know, never draw anything relevant ever again. That was good while it lasted. Bowmasters is a good way to cast Hogak in a can. That's pretty strong. Solid upgrade for the deck. We can probably pack it up pretty soon here. I guess our Roiling Vortexes actually hit Hogak. That's kind of funny. Ah, in a different world. I guess we'll play it out a little more. I think I want to put this on Zombie. It'll make it hard to recur. Bowmasters is such a pain though. And it's good at recasting Hogak. Naming Orc gets the most bodies off the board. But yeah, Gravecrawler is such a problem. I'll name Zombie. Plague Engineer can block these. Not like we're not just taking the immediate block on Hogak though. But yeah, interesting to note that Roiling Vortex will hit Hogak. No mana is spent to cast that spell. You can't. You can't spend mana. I think I'm taking 8 here, right? They can just recast it. Well, actually it'd take one more card in their graveyard. But also, yeah, I'm just going to take 8. Give me one more draw step to figure something out here. Alter Dementia, alright. I believe that is the combo usually. I think they need to flip a bridge or something here, but it's pretty deterministic. Or maybe they don't even need to flip that. I can't remember. This got banned pretty soon after its introduction into Modern. I was there. The Jund matchup wasn't that bad though. I was playing Jund back then. And the cool thing about Jund is that you can build your deck to beat anything you want. Bowmasters, okay. Is that better than Brazen Borrower? We're definitely not racing, so yeah, I'm not going to play Brazen Borrower. I was really hoping to find a land. They're F6'd. Seems bad. Probably want to sacrifice that to the altar, right? But that ain't none of my business. Faithless Looting. There's a Vengevine. That's pretty scary. Well, let's keep working on the board. And then I guess we'll just send one upstairs. There's a Bloodghast lurking. Putrid Imp. That should do it. Yeah, there's no real way around this. It's just so easy for them to recast Hogak. And I can't Cling to Dust end of combat because I don't have the mana to do it. Let's just go to the next game. It's not particularly interesting content, I think, but I'll see what I would have drawn anyways. Oh, Cling to Dust. That wouldn't have mattered. Still interesting though. Let's grab Plague Engineer, Surgical Extraction, of course. I don't know if I want Roiling Vortex. The Vortex effect of taking one every turn, man, it's just so narrow. Is that really it? I can't think of much else. The Edicts don't seem good. They're going to have a lot of creatures on board. And then Fable seems kind of slow, but I do kind of want these big bombs. Probably don't want Caves of Chaos Adventurer though. Shieldred definitely gaining life is good, so I guess we can throw Sorin in instead. I can't really think of much for Nimble Obstructionist. There's got to be something though. Stitcher's Supplier, I guess. None of it's really game winning. You could prevent a Vengevine from coming in, but hopefully we're hitting those with Surgical. Ideally our opening hand would be like Force of Will, Snapcaster Mage, and Surgical Extraction or something like that. For Science I could bring in a nah, whatever. We're good. Let's take the play. This hand is not great. It's got Plague Engineer. It's got a Force. It's got Spell Pierce to fight an Enabler. Unless the Enabler is like Stitcher's Supplier or something. But I do like Plague Engineer. Lightning Bolt can be relevant in keeping Hogak off the field. But I think we should look for some kind of graveyard interaction. Yeah, this will work. Not thrilled. Kolaghan's Command for the Alter Dementia, but am I really going to beat this deck on 5? It's pretty resilient. One Surgical Extraction is not going to ruin their day. But if I got to choose, I would like to Surgical Hogak for sure. Faithless Looting, sure. If they do it again, we can get a somewhat decent clock on board with Orcish Bowmasters. Ooh, Bridge from Below. That is a prime target for Cling to Dust for sure. Part of me just wants to hit it right now, cycle that, and hopefully find something more relevant, since I'm going to be spending my mana every turn, it seems. I got the old curve. I'll get a Badlands. Ponder, okay. Is that better than holding up Bowmasters? Well, now I have Force of Will. Let's chill. If I can put a bunch of stuff in the graveyard and approach that escaped Cling, I'll be feeling pretty good. Oh, they're just passing. That's interesting. Probably Bowmasters. Lightning Bolt, okay. So I think I want to Ponder, and then when they Bowmaster, I'll Bowmaster. Just like that. Yep. Sure. And then hopefully I'll find either Surgical or at least a blue card. If not Surgical, at least a blue card. I'm begging you. Arrows flying everywhere. Old Boromir his ass, and then... Okay. Probably just want to pitch the other Force. There's no guarantee we'll have an additional blue card coming up, so I don't want to Thoughtseize next turn. I like to go like this. Altar of Dementia. Given that we have Kolaghan's Command, I think I'm gonna let that resolve. Hopefully it doesn't kill us. We'll see. Stitcher's Supplier. That's probably worth a Force of Will, right? Then they can't cast Hogak. And then I K-Command, put them to no creatures. Our clock is so anemic. But I think this is the best line. It'll be a little better once Brazen Borrower gets in there. Man, they won't attack. Maybe they're scared. And Lightning Bolt can have some additional reach. I don't want them to discard. It's entirely free for them. They probably have a Hogak in hand. Okay, now they got it. Okay, Carrion Feeder hits the bin. That doesn't have any text in the graveyard, which is good for us. If the best thing they can do is flashback Faithless Looting, our clock gets a little better. Okay, there's a flashback on looting. Discarding Bayou and Dried Arbor. And I think I still need to Thoughtseize this turn. Putrid Imp. I can see them just discarding both of their cards, though, in response, but they might have something they want in their hand. You never know. Yeah, just Gravecrawler. Then we'll definitely Bolt here. And we might actually do this. We're drawing Wild next turn. We can throw in Brazen Borrower and have 7 power on board, which is pretty wild. If we didn't have to do that, well, yeah, I think this is just correct. Oh no! Though this does put them to 8, so it's still a 2-turn clock. It's just not as evasive. Given that neither of these could block, though, maybe it was just right to lightning bolt, face. I'm not sure about that, though. This spirals out of control if they're able to get Hogak on board. Now let's play Narset. And given that this deck is super interactive, I think the best they can do is probably shoot 1 damage at her with Orcish Bowmasters. And there's nothing I could cast. I'm going to play around discard by just not activating Narset. Do it next turn. Oh, Jesus, I forgot. Surgical Extraction. That was so bad. I deserve to lose this. We are unpunished. Let's take it to game 3, huh? I don't see any reason to change things up here. Flusterstorm doesn't really seem relevant. And they're not the crab version, so I don't need red blasts. The Edict is seeming a little more interesting just because just preventing them from getting 2 creatures in general is pretty good. But I don't know what else I would cut. Maybe 3 Thoughtseize on the draw is not great. Sure. It's also nice to have an out to Hogak if they're able to get it on the field. Ideally, they do not. Well, they're keeping 7. We don't have Surgical or Force. We have Cling to Dust, but that's probably not good enough. Oh, I don't know about this one either. We have Thoughtseize, but only an island. Let's go to 5. Alright. We'll keep this, put back probably 2 lands, I think. Or we could put back Narset, since we're just kind of far off from that. Alright, they're going to Thoughtseize us. Our hand is pretty bad anyways. They're going to take Brainstorm. So we still have our interaction, which is kind of cool. Land, terrible draw. Altar of Dementia. Alright, they're setting up pretty well. But we're not under any pressure just yet. Snapcaster Mage, okay. Goes really nicely with Surgical, but I could also see us needing to snap back Brainstorm or something. We'll see. And Thoughtseize. Sure. They're taking the snap. And they have a Gravecrawler. Alright, let's see what we can spike here. We have a lot of good draws. Force of Will's not really one of them since we don't have another blue card, so guess we'll just play that and pass. They've had a really slow start, but we have not been able to capitalize on that one bit. Our Mold of 5 really hurt us, and it wasn't even a good Mold of 5. Yep. Let's see. Cling to Dust doesn't really affect anything here. If they got Hogak, they got it. Speaking of which, here it comes. In response, I'm going to Cling the Bridge and hopefully spike a blue card. In response, they're going to do some stuff. This will ensure that they can get another one going. Yeah, I think they've probably comboed us from here. And we don't hit the blue card anyways. We can pack it up. Unfortunate game 3, pretty anticlimactic, but I think game 2 is kind of where you want to be against this deck if you happen to run into it. It's not very commonly found, but yeah, let's keep on going. Welcome back for game number 2. We're on the draw with a pretty solid hand, if we get a turn. Looks pretty similar to last time, actually. I think we were hoping to untap and throw a Thoughtseize. They're going to fetch an island and pass. Maybe they're playing around Opposition Agent. Force of Will, cool. Let's see what's going on. They're going to brainstorm. I swear you just can't Thoughtseize people anymore. They always have some response. Looks like High Tide. I'm inclined to take Ponder. Then if they spend 2 mana on Sapphire Medallion, forcing feels pretty good. Because Brain Freeze is a win con, but they need a lot more things first to make that so, and I think I can stop them. Narset lines up really well against this deck. But it's probably just Sapphire Medallion. Then they'll be searching for another enabler, and I don't have a Kolaghan's Command in hand. But I really want to take Ponder. We can all agree that Snap is not the take. I'm going to take Sapphire Medallion. If this was Brainstorm, I would have taken it. Also worth noting that they hid something on top, I think. Either that or something they are going to redraw, and then we'll see if they shuffle away the 3rd card, or rather the 2nd card off Brainstorm. We can glean quite a bit from that. There's the Ponder, yep. And no shuffle, and they play an island. So they have 1 unknown in hand. Maybe it's Force of Will. We're giving off major combo vibes with basic Swamp into Thoughtseize. There's land number 3, however, it is not a blue source for Narset. I'm good to just play a Baleful Strix here. Start applying some pressure, but I don't want to reveal any red mana. And we also don't need double red for anything. Whoops. Not trying to cast that yet. Alright, Baleful Strix. Best flips here are Force of Will or a blue land. Orcish Bowmasters, also not bad. If we can't get to Narset, Bowmasters should do an equally good job harassing them. Although they do have the Snap. Alright, let's see it. Blue source 1 time. Ponder, okay. Get the attack in here. And given I like what's in my hand, I think I would much rather Ponder than Brainstorm. Although you could make an argument for either one. Okay, I think it's worth casting Thoughtseize again. Definitely Fable on bottom, then I'll draw Delta next turn. Take Thoughtseize right now. Play a Badlands. And then Thoughtseize with the combo deck. Double High Tide, Brain Freeze. Okay, we'll take a High Tide. Okay, they're going to draw Blind. The final Ponder card is gone. Flooded Strand, okay. They did not play the High Tide, so they need to set up some more, it looks like. Which means I can just play Narset here and make their life very difficult. Round out our colors here. If they have a force, they'll probably need to force this. Cool, we're in there. Shield Edict, probably entirely useless, but I will take it as raw materials to move around with Brainstorm. There's an island cycle on Lorien. Yeah, it might be difficult for them to remove Narset game 1. There's that island. I'm still interested in getting rid of this other high tide though. If I can do that, I'll be feeling pretty safe. Land number 5, okay. And it's a fetch land, so let's first do a little Azcanta off Narset. Fable's back, won't leave us alone. I don't have enough to Fable, Bowmaster, and Brainstorm, but if they try to draw a card on my turn, Bowmasters can tax, but otherwise I think I'm good just... Well, maybe I don't need to Brainstorm. I don't need to choose right now. I mean, cards both have flash, so let's just toss in Fable. Get a little more clock on board. Maybe we will loot into our third Thoughtseize or a Snapcaster Mage, so I can flashback Thoughtseize and just make sure they're still not anywhere near where they need to be to go off. They're going to pass the turn, so I can flash in Bowmasters here. And with 5 power on board, we should be in a pretty good position. A little regrettable that I have to use my shuffle effect, but I'm sure another one will come up. And they might end up having to do a defensive snap here. It looks like they're good conceding to the Bowmasters, and I did have a really commanding presence here with Narset locking out draws and Fable of the Mirror Breaker giving me selection, so it makes sense. This matchup should be really good. We didn't see Mind's Desire, but you just know they have it. That's kind of the reason for the season, so we'll grab the Vortexes, first appearance. Then let's get all the red blasts in the world. Surgical Extraction, if you can extract High Tide, it's pretty good, but the wish effects, like Granted, make it so that they're not gone forever, but it might be hard for them to get a critical mass of High Tides, and I think they usually need to resolve 1 or 2, or more than 1, I mean. Let's get Flusterstorm, and I'm not sure if Opposition Agent is good. I played against some Storm deck recently that needed... Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like an Infernal Tutor Storm deck. It was, I think, a blue deck that... Oh, yeah, because of Merchant Scroll. We didn't see a Merchant Scroll, but they probably have them. That plus their fetch lands and just having a flash threat is good enough for me. So let's cut Caves of Chaos Adventure, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Plague Engineer. Definitely want the Stifle Bird. Edict's gone. And then Lightning Bolt is bad. Or not bad, but unimpactful. Cling to Dust is also unimpactful. But would I rather have 1 less Bolt or no Clings? As you saw in the last game, sometimes they need a lot of time to set up. Or not a lot of time, but more than 1 turn to set up. So Cling to Dust can be something to do in those lonely hours. So yeah, I'll keep 1. And then we'll keep 1 Lightning Bolt. Well, the hand is great, but there's only 1 problem. There's no lands, so I guess I'll throw it back. I'm not wild about this one either. But I'll keep it because there's a Spell Pierce. Throw back a land. I'll keep all the fetch lands just so I can fill up my graveyard for a Cling to Dust flashback, or escape rather. They also took a mulligan, which is good for a combo deck. Good for me, that is. Ones like this usually need a critical mass. And Opposition Agent. Alright. Could be cool. We'll see. I will Spell Pierce a Sapphire Medallion here. I don't get the chance. I do want to cycle this Cling, though. So I guess I'll just undo all my hard work and hit my own Bloodstained Mire. Obstructionist, cool. That's a pretty good one. Dodges Force of Will, as you all know. And let's go ahead and ponder. More of the same, I think. And I want to hold up Spell Pierce, so... But maybe holding up Brainstorm is cool too. I can buy that. And if none of that happens, do I want to draw another Ponder? Probably not, because I want to cast Opposition Agent. Although land number 4 could be Opposition Agent plus Spell Pierce to protect it. So that all sounds pretty good. I'm just worried that this is not adequate protection to beat their combo. But maybe it is. If Spell Pierce gets me through to next turn, I'll have Nimble Obstructionist. And they haven't shown me anything but blue. So I doubt they'll be able to Thought Seize it away. That's probably better than just some random thing. What if I shuffle and there's like 4 lands in a row? Knowledge is power. Selection is power. Card selection wins games. What has won more games? Card selection or card advantage? Probably card advantage. It's good to have a lot of stuff. Okay, Brainstorm. I don't want to Spell Pierce that. So I won't. I'll give myself one more chance to draw the Ponder on top. Island. Yo, if they give me priority to make a land drop, I might even clip that Misty Rainforest. We'll see what they want to do. Which would also then stick them with cards they maybe don't want. However, if they force that, though, and I'm just shields down, yeah, that sounds too risky. To just take them off one land, that's not worth it. I'll end step it, though. Or if they cast Merchant Scroll. That's an adequate investment of mana. Ooh, High Tide. Yep. Ooh, High Tide. Yep. Now I could clip it here, and I think I still have enough mana if I got all islands, right? This on its own just casts Opposition Agent. I don't need to do anything, really. Force a Will? Okay. I mean, I can't fight back, really. What's Spell Pierce going to do? Tap them low? Yeah, who cares? I could Brainstorm, though. I feel like if this resolves, it's just over, and I've a lot of mana. And let's leave Volcanic Island in there. Surgical Extraction. That'll give me an idea if I can afford to mess around or if I need to absolutely leave this up so they don't just pass phases and go for a win over there on their second main. Extracting High Tide, though, doesn't seem that great. I'm guessing their last card has to be Mind's Desire, right? And I'll want to just stifle the Storm trigger. Then Spell Pierce will have some text next turn. So I think I just let all this happen, even though I do really want to clock. We'll find a way to clock. And then, yeah, I think Surgical is just not the good card here. I think Bowmasters will be the better clock, though. Alright, yeah, let's do that. Ooh, Time Spiral. Okay. Well, we can just Spell Pierce that then. One and one, baby. Alright. Round 3. Winning the die roll. Got a couple lands and a Ponder. And some serious top end. Some Lightning Bolt to keep us alive. Snapcaster Mage is probably for later on. But I think we can make do with this. Ordinarily, I really like having access to basic Swamp, but given the composition of this hand, if we are up against a Wasteland deck, I think basic Mountain might be more what I'm looking for, so let's leave the Scalding Tarn around and grab a basic island and cast Ponder. Gonna be looking for Force of Will. Okay, cool. And land number 3 is cool. And I'll probably want to Thoughtseize next turn, but we'll see if we can put that off so we can also guarantee more land drops. But for now, let's concentrate on survival. The queues have been fast and furious lately. That's why I think I mentioned the deck tech, just 3 Thoughtseizes feels pretty good. Misty Rainforest Go. Seems like a slower start, but I'm pretty sure the last time I faced the 420 Slam King, they were playing Rug Rhinos Cascade, in which case I'd want to Thoughtseize sooner rather than later. But I don't have any cantrips. Brazen Borrower, or Petty Theft rather, is a removal spell for 1 Rhino, but we basically don't want them to have any Rhinos at all. I think it is probably wise to Thoughtseize here, and I'm going to get a Badlands. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. They do have, we have the funny option of being able to take a land here, but I think it's probably best to take Violent Outburst. Although we could also take Force of Negation. If we don't have to force anything, that's probably best. Minsk and Boo, we can just stay hyper vigilant with Lightning Bolt and take care of it that way. So yeah, I'm just gonna take the threat here. Tega, okay. I also mentioned in the deck tech that I've wanted to have a sideboard card for Rhinos and for forever, but I just never felt like it was really a big part of the meta. And now that we have Roiling Vortex, well, we kind of do. It's sweet. So we can Thoughtseize again, and if they have a Spirit Guide off the top of the deck next turn, then we can get Minsk and Boot out of nowhere. But then I guess we'll just force that, and then they can't force a negation back since it'll be their turn. Ah, the old Thoughtseize bug. Well, I'll do it again. I did it once, I'll do it again. Not hitting a land drop though, doesn't feel great. Shocking in the Seagate Restoration. They might have drawn Shardless Agent. Or they might have hit a Spirit Guide. It is a Spirit Guide. Yeah, I can't really let this resolve. And I do want to keep Brazen Borrower around, even though Snap Thoughtseize, it's not even that good, so yeah, we gotta force this. Now, if we can curve out, we've survived long enough that Caves of Chaos Adventure might just be a strong enough clock. Alright, we're getting there. Unfortunately, no double blue for Brazen Borrower, but we'll be wanting to Petty Theft first in most cases anyways. And just to pass over there. Land here would be pretty good. Plague Engineer, cool. I can put that on Rogue, or I could put it on Hamster. These decks don't usually run more than 2 or 3 Minsk and Boos though, and since one's already down, I think I'm good to put this on Rogue. Then if I do find land number 4, I can just throw down Caves of Chaos Adventure and not worry about Brazen Borrower swooping in, taking the initiative out of nowhere. Ah, here we go. This is going to be a little rough. Narset, can't cast it. So I'll take a block on a Rhino. Bolt the Shardless Agent. There's no way they're going to force a negation this, but I'll try. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Now I can Petty Theft a Rhino. Ooh, they had Force of Will. Okay. They were just completely rolled up. Well, not much that'll get us out of this one. Land number 4. I guess I play Caves of Chaos Adventure. grab my land drop for next turn and just see if there's some way out of this. They'll also get a basic land. We just got to do something. Violent Outburst is lethal here. Oh, right, or they can just Petty Theft. Okay. Yep, this is a tough matchup, but I'm excited that we actually have some sideboard tech for it this time. First time I've ever felt that way. Roiling Vortex, Blue Blast, Flusterstorm, Plague Engineer, Red Blast. Cling to Dust, not very impactful. Probably cut some higher end stuff or grindier stuff. Even though this deck can grind pretty well, we just don't really have the luxury. They're very aggressive. Cut a Lightning Bolt. I'll cut 2 Lightning Bolts. And then I can also cut 1 Orcish Bowmasters. And I'll just stick with 2 Red Blasts. I think the deck used to be more in on Murktide Regent. I haven't seen it as much lately. Take the play here. Got Thoughtseize and Force of Will and plenty of land drops. Let's go. If we suspect Blood Moon, we'll probably have time to get basics. Yeah, I'll just get a basic swamp now. Why not? I'm only seeing 1 Cascade spell. They have tons of free interaction, but this will be probably a little difficult to grind through. Mints can be on the top end, but only 2 mana. So, well, let's just start grinding. They'll start with a Wooded Foothills. Land is no good. And they are bolting that in. I wonder if they're just holding up Petty Theft, or if in their 2 draw steps they found like Spirit Guide, Violent Outburst. That would be pretty exceptional. Hopefully we hit a blue card here. Ah, another land. Okay, this one's not ours. Okay, they bolted in so they could cast Ice. Sure. I think we need a Brainstorm to win this game. Although they did just miss a land drop. A little bit of reprieve for us here. Alright, yeah, I don't think we can win this without Brainstorm at this point. And another Ice, sure. Land number 3 over there, okay. Now Brazen Borrower is online. And a Baleful Strix, okay. Grab an island here. And that's... get on board at least a little bit. Another Force of Will, okay. That is fine with me. Let's snap Thoughtseize. I can foresee taking Minsk and Boo here. But they also might just counter this. Endurance, okay. I'd like to fight over this, but I honestly don't think we can. They're definitely crushing the mid-range game here. Shardless Agent. We'll force. They'll force back. Not sure what we'd be looking for at this point. Yep. Hanging on to that Force Negation. Still 2 unknown cards in hand. Lightning Bolt. Alright, we'll make a land drop and pass. But I think we're going to die pretty quickly here. I wouldn't consider this game very competitive. Game 1 was a little interesting, but hopefully I can get a little more data on Roiling Vortex and what it does for the matchup. I think it's, even if I draw it next turn, it's not going to do anything. Ooh, and a fire for the complete blowout. Guess I have to bolt this instead. But I don't think I have any draws really that can get me out of this one. They got trample over there. Yeah, we don't have to stick around. I'll just take a draw step, whatever. Plague Engineer. Okay, cool. Yeah, our top of the deck didn't really cooperate there. What can you do? Be back for round 4. Round number 4, winning the die roll again. Hopefully we'll run a little better this time. That was a rough match against Rhinos. I think this hand is pretty good. I often look to get a Narset down on the play. That's a good pattern for my deck to win. We're up against a Kahira deck. I'm not sure what that could mean. Perhaps a elemental pile, but I think those are usually on Yorion. We shall see. I'm going to keep this and go Island Ponder. No land number 4. I think we'll probably aim to shuffle away that snap though. Take Kolaghan's Command and then put Force of Will in hand for right now. Sometimes combo decks will run a Kahira Companion just because it's pretty free to do so. Boseiju, Mox Diamond, looks like some kind of lands deck. And a Savannah. Crop Rotation off the bat. It's pretty tempting to cast Force on this. Narset traditionally doesn't really line up against lands all that well, unless they're on Sylvan Library, but that card is kind of at an all-time low right now. Bowmasters is out there in lots of numbers, so, and I think Brainstorm can be nice just to set things up. I think I'm going to force this, pitching Narset. They're not completely set back a land drop, at least not for now. I'm going to pick up K-Command here. And we'll see what we can do. Urza's Saga. And Life from the Loam. Now if I K-Command the Mox Diamond, I won't have that to deal with constructs. But there's also the possibility that they just won't be able to make constructs if I destroy the Mox Diamond, since they went down a land from crop rotation getting countered. If they have a soul land, it's kind of all for naught. But let's brainstorm first of all. If I hit Cling to Dust, that would be pretty phenomenal. I do hit Cling to Dust and Plague Engineer. So I think Snapcaster Mage can go, and then also Caves of Chaos Adventure. Even if they do have the soul land, I can just play Plague Engineer and Construct, and without another artifact, they won't really be able to get them off the ground. The problem is that K-Commands doesn't really have an appealing second mode right here. I guess I can just Raven's Crime Shatter. They can just discard one of the lands they picked up. Then let's grab Underground Sea and hit that loam. Land number 4, okay. And land number 5, a little too many of those. You discard and shatter the Mox Diamond. I gotta say, this is a pretty aggressive line. These lines are kind of more aggressive than I'm used to on Grixis. But I think keeping their resources low is going to be pretty important. Yep, alright. I am really glad then that I decided to keep Plague Engineer. Orcish Bowmasters, that's another way to deal with X1 constructs. But I believe this to be better. We'll just kind of freeze them. They'll float 1, okay. And then let's get a basic mountain. not going to walk into a Pithing Needle. Oh, I bet they're going to get Soul Guide Lantern and take out Cling to Dust here. No Expedition Map, okay. Oh, because they just naturally have the Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, Urza's Saga, got it. Well, I guess they're not looking to use that Soul Guide Lantern anytime soon. And then I guess Bowmasters can start picking off constructs. Baleful Strix, cool. Then we gotta push as much damage as we possibly can here. Fable the Mirrorbreaker. We are running much better this time. We have a significant mana advantage, which is interesting because I feel like Grixis Control almost never plays mana denial. We don't play Wasteland or anything like that. They have a Thespian stage. I wonder if they're gonna do the Urza's Saga trick. If I can just get rid of that Soul Guide Lantern, we'll have a pretty good lock going. Brainstorm, okay. I'm not going to use this. Let's start by brainstorming. Shieldred's Edict, okay, I want that definitely, just in case there is a Marrowlage in the future. Let's draw the brainstorm next turn, and for now, let's fire in here. If they don't have anything to interact with Reflection of Kiki Jiki, Plague Engineer can start picking off 2/2 constructs as well. And with them being at 11, this is a pretty solid clock. If they're going to rely on Ancient Tomb, that is. And yeah, it looks like they are making a copy of Urza's Saga. This engine will be kind of slow and ineffective, though, if I can just destroy that Soul Guide Lantern somehow. Okay, they'll go to 7 here. Let's pick off the construct, and unless they have something pretty crazy in hand, we might just have them dead on board right now. They can get Haywire Might, I suppose, but yeah, looks like that is not the case. Cool. So we're missing our usual Hammer against lands, which is Blood Moon, and I don't think Roiling Vortex is going to be relevant here. It's not really hitting anything. The only thing I can think of is stopping a Shadow Spear from winning a race. But let's bring in Meltdown for that purpose instead. Surgical Extraction, Opposition Agent, and let's just cut some of the slower stuff. Lightning Bolt's not super relevant here. Thoughtseize on the draw is pretty poor. I'll bring in another big win con and then cut another Lightning Bolt. Although you could also cut the third Thoughtseize and then bring him back on the play. Not a super impressive hand here. I'm going to throw it back. Yeah, that's better. Let's keep and then send Narset, because I'm probably looking to go basic island, basic swamp, and then there's our mountain. We'll see if Spell Pierce can catch anything here. Oh, nope. Too bad. They got the exploration, which is a pretty big deal. But maybe Spell Pierce can do something else here. We'll see. Meltdown, sweet. That's a good one. I'm probably more in... Well, next turn it's not like we really have anything too crazy to do anyways. So if they like Naked Loam this turn, it's not imperative that I hit it with Cling to Dust on the end step for mana reasons. I think it's probably just best to hold up Spell Pierce. Who knows what will happen. Then we'll have both next turn. Well, they got a Dark Depths. No Thespian stage, though. There's another land for us, okay. I imagine they'll probably go for Expedition Map. But if they make another construct, they might not have the mana to activate it. We'll see what happens here. Now let's just go get our stuff. Yep, there's the map. Here comes combat. Taken 4, sure. Ooh, Yavimai. Okay, yeah, they can definitely activate the map. Uh-oh. But they're playing a Saga. I don't know if that means they already have Thespian Stage or what. Or if they just want to grind super hard. I guess we'll see. Yet another land. I do want to get this lantern out of here too, so let's go for one. They'll probably draw in response, but I just want it gone. Yep, they'll take a draw. These games are pretty different when they have exploration, that's for sure. There's a Loam. Let's see. I'm going to Spell Pierce this. It's not like it's getting any better. And they don't want to pay because they want to make a construct. That works out for us since we have Cling to Dust. But they probably didn't foresee that. Narset, okay. That could do some stuff. For now, I probably need to hold up K-Command, right? Or do I just need to start digging for Sheoldred's Edict? I'm at 14. Well, let's see what we draw anyways. They're going to value Horizon Canopy, or they're going to value Life from the Loam over a construct. That makes sense. Then we don't draw. So yeah, let's play Narset then. If we spike Surgical, since they milled another Loam, that would be pretty cool. No, just Thoughtseeds. Okay. So they got a couple Loams in hand. They're not making a construct either. They're just floating green. And there's a Pithing Needle, naming Narset. So they've taken a little bit more of a defensive posture here. They can just keep looping these Sagas, though. It's pretty bad for us. And a choke. Wow. Lightning Bolt. Okay. I'm pretty sure their hand is Loam and lands right now. And if it was crop rotation, they just cast it in response. Yep. All right, let's pack this one up. See if we can get a better foothold in game 3 on the play. I see no reason to make any changes other than bringing Thoughtseize back. And then we can cut Lightning Bolt and 1 Orcish Bowmasters. We want a Clock, but it's not the most relevant card against them. Yeah, this feels good. The only thing I'd want more is a basic island. But Cling to Dust, Force of Will, it all feels pretty good. There's just such a huge difference between the games where they have exploration and when they don't. It's pretty tempting to just take all these lands, or 2 of them anyways. Cling to Dust is a pretty solid draw engine on its own. But I still think we can do better than this. Shuffle. Brainstorm, cool. Much rather have that. They have a turn 1 play here. Definitely going to be forcing exploration. And we can pitch Narset. Another Force of Will. Okay. If they play another exploration, I think I'd probably Brainstorm first. Ooh, Wasteland. Tough. Yeah, let's brainstorm. Probably just look to redraw land number 3 again. Shadow Spear, sure. And we will play Scalding Tarn and pass. Another exploration. Well, they're down to 3 cards in hand. But the second they find Loam, this card just explodes. That being said, we have Cling to Dust, so it'd kind of be just like one burst of land, and that's it. But if I can find Spell Pierce, I think that is a fine trade for exploration. Shieldred's Edict, I like that. I mean, I have to let this resolve, obviously, but I think we're in fine shape. Then let's cast Fear. Let's actually put back Force of Will since we don't have a blue card anymore. And now we're going to fight fair, I guess. Cast Fable, the Mirror Breaker next turn. And they have Nurza's Saga. Alright, basic swamp. And a mountain 2. Fable the Mirror Breaker. And they did not like whatever they drew, so they're going to pack it up there. Cool. 2 and 2, let's try and get that positive record. Welcome back for the final round here. We won the die roll once again, but this hand it's bad. So we'll mulligan. Well, this one's even worse. I think we'll have to go to 5 in a non-strategic manner. Alright. See what we can do here. I bottom bolt there just so Baleful Strix can maybe recoup a mulligan for us here, but we're not in good shape. Like if they just wasteland us here, and I might just concede to conceal information. Underground Sea, huh? Ponder, okay. This could literally be anything these days. Delver, Storm, Doomsday, and no shuffle there. Shieldred. That's something to look forward to, if we survive. And there's lane number 3. Yeah, I have seen Shieldred solo games before. Some decks just aren't really prepared to beat a 4/5 body. And another Bonder, sure. And another Underground Sea. I'm getting Doomsday vibes. But Mind's Desire is also pretty popular, as it just got unbanned. Let's swing in for 1 here. And next turn, throw down the Shieldred, see what it does. They're just going to pass. I'm very suspicious of their 7 cards in hand. Do I play around Daze, or do I just fire in Shieldred? I think I would Force of Will a Force of Will, but I'm not going to Force of Will a Daze. And we're in there, baby. We got triple Underground Sea action. Fatal Push. Ah, geez. So it is some kind of fair deck. How hard do I want to protect this? Probably pretty hard. I don't have anything else going on. Petty Theft. Okay. Well, In the words of Jason Molina, I will be gone, but not forever. Get that Shieldred back next turn. And they got a Brainstorm. Maybe they're just looking to cash out this Brainstorm. Looking for that counter spell. Although if they're a Fatal Push deck, I don't think Shieldred's going to be all that scary in the long run. They might be that blue-black control deck that's been going around. In which case, Shieldred's a little bit of a liability because that's a reanimate deck. Got some Orcish Bowmasters action. Cool. And now we're a bit soft to a Murktide Regent. Force of Will. Okay. They're going to Mystic Sanctuary back the Fatal Push. So we're going to get one trigger off Shieldred, and that's it. Yep, Murktide Regent. As expected. There's an Arset. Do literally whatever we can here. It would have been nice to have those 2 extra cards. Take a K command. Not sure if we'll have the time to survive, but if we can get Shieldred back. Like, I don't know how much they're going to dedicate to fighting Narset here. Hopefully a lot. More of this. Reanimate, sure. And Lightning Bolt. Coming a little too late there. Alright. Unfortunate mold of 5 there. We'll hope that God gives us a playable 7 next time. Take my Pyroblasts. Take Sorin. Definitely cut Shieldred and probably Caves of Chaos too, but let's see what else we got here. Plague Engineer's good. I like Surgical Extraction because they are a reanimate deck. It kind of supplants Force of Will in that way. Just having free interaction that counters a card, and it's only 1 for 1 there, whereas Force of Will is more like 1 for 2. I'm going to cut 2 Thoughtseizes. Nimble Obstructionist. Well, I'll keep Caves of Chaos on the draw, or on the play, I mean. And then I'll cut probably, I'll go down 1 land there. Hand looks fine. Didn't glean if they were on Wasteland or not. Some of the lists are, but not all of them. Ponder here. See some good options. Pyroblast is kind of a for later thing. Unless they're on Sauron's Ransom. Then Plague Engineer is great. So let's put Brainstorm in hand. Underground Sea and pass. Alright. Not under any pressure. I'd rather just hold up, cling to dust. Wouldn't be surprised to see them cycle Troll of Khazad-dûn here. No cycle, okay. Yep, okay, they are on Wasteland. Interesting. Next turn, brainstorm. Or we could brainstorm now, before they can cast Orcish Bowmasters. And we'll just put one lightning bolt back. Very unsuspicious over there. Probably the best time to Thoughtseize would be right now. See if we can set up a Plague Engineer blowout. I think it's just clearly reanimate. Then we'll get the 2-for-1 off Plague Engineer after they fatal push it. And as long as they're not ripping bombs off the top, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Definitely just Pyroblast that. Don't want them cashing in those lands for real cards. Then we'll see if we can draw a basic land next turn. Strix, okay. In light of that, I think I just want to bolt the Bowmasters and then play Strix. If I can exhaust their fatal pushes like that, then we'll be in pretty good shape. Brazen Borrower. So far, they're not interested. More Bowmasters. Well, this lets us ponder after we sweep away those orcs, which is kind of cool. They also neglected to make a land drop last turn. I'm not really sure what that means. Yep. Just grinding them out. I do like Snapcaster Mage. And then we're already through 2 Bowmasters. I don't know how many more they can really have, right? I mean, they're probably running 4, but the odds of finding them seem a lot lower. And they'll play a Watery Grave and pass. Let's put in the Baleful Strix here. Draw Scalding Tarn. This gives us some protection against Reanimate. Speaking of which, you know, usually I'm not very excited to hit creatures with Cling to Dust, but if I'm countering a Reanimate and gaining 3 life in this scenario is really not that bad. I'll take it. Now they're playing a Wasteland, sure. End of turn, let's go ahead and bounce the army token. It's already a 2/2, so Plague Engineer's not going to sweep that up for free. More Baleful Strix. Oh, let's go ahead and cast it. And probably use Badlands since they can waste it at any moment here. More land. I suppose I'll take that. This gives us an escape on Cling to Dust, which is sweet. Plague Engineer, yikes. That is pretty bad for us. Let's go ahead and cast Brazen Borrower. Just keep pushing the damage. And it's a little harder for them to cast a Fatal Push on this, being 3 CMC. Bowmasters, cool. If they try to cantrip, we can take out the Plague Engineer. However, we know they have a Fatal Push, but maybe they'll burn it on something else. Good to take 2 here. And nothing. Let's go ahead and then just, I guess, hit Brainstorm. Then if they Brainstorm in response via Snapcaster Mage, no, I don't really think that's that advantageous for us. Wow, even more Bowmasters. How many can they really have in their top 15 cards? Well, that stops our clocking, but at least we get to shoot theirs too. And if their last unknown card is Bowmasters number 4, then I don't even know. Okay, it's not. It's Narset. That's cool. Let's get her in there. I'm going to take Force of Will. And then let's try and get another card off Narset. They'll probably Fatal Push something here. And then Snap Ambush is going to be the way here. See what they think about this. Alrighty. How about this? Also cool. I will force a Bowmasters here, so if they grow their army, or if they try to grow their army, I won't let them. Kolaghan's Command looking good. Take a Red Blast. Murktide is kind of the last piece of the puzzle that could really mess me up here. Send for 3. And pass. Hardcasting Troll of Khazad-dûn. I think I'll counter this. It just puts a lot of unnecessary pressure. Now let's attack for 3 again. And now Reanimate looks a little sketchy. Oh, I should Ponder. Not saving that to pitch to force anymore. This all looks good. Yeah, I'll shoot for Sorin next turn. Hold up all this stuff for another turn. Still working with Fatal Push and one unknown over there. They're going to go after Underground Sea, sure. Let's cast this right now. Fatal Push on Bowmasters, sure. Ponder for the selection, sure. And a shuffle, so they're drawing blind next turn. We've ground them out to 0, so I think K-Command Shock Raven's Crime next turn should just wrap it up. And if that fails, we can throw down Sorin. And I guess it is better to actually return Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. I guess when there's a stop in your draw step, people know what's coming. Okay, as mentioned, I think I'll cut Caves of Chaos Adventure. And yeah, or I kind of want a third force since they have really splashy plays. And we can go down 1 Strix. Hand looks quite nice. Can completely play around Wasteland. And they'll start with Ponder. I do like Cling to Dust. Got a nice spread of interaction here. Here comes a Grief. I could force this and then cling cling when they have the inevitable reanimate, but I think I'll just let it happen for now. No, they're taking Bowmasters, so maybe they don't have reanimate. And that is interesting. Fable the Mirrorbreaker, cool. Gonna play Scalding Tarn so I can get basic Mountain. And they're gonna wait on Bowmasters. Probably best as a removal spell on Strix anyways. Watery Grave shocked in. Very unsuspicious. And we find another Pyroblast. Probably enough of that. Let's go ahead and cast our bomb. Hoping to dodge Spell Pierce here. Or any 1-for-1 counter spell. But if they force, I think I'll just force back. Even though we'd really rather have Red Blast line up against that. Blue Elemental Blast. Yeah, this is what I was really hoping to avoid. I think we just let it happen and just pick a fight for another day. Although I don't really have that much more going on, and they clearly had Bowmasters. If they spend even more cards on that, then we're just playing a low resource game anyways. Alright, we're in there. Not to mention if they don't immediately Fatal Push this or something, we could get some mana advantage too. Which I would not mind. Reanimate, okay. They must have another Bowmasters. Yep. So we're hoping to find like Plague Engineer here, I guess. Sheoldred's Edict. It's not great. And I can't really afford to do anything about this. Just gotta hope we don't die, I guess. And that they have a lot of blue cards. And let's get rid of one of theirs. Red Blast that. I'm literally down to Red Blast anything here. Just trying to trade cards. Maybe they were trying to use that as bait so they can play a Murktide, but I do have another Pyroblast. So they sacrificed my Bowmasters, and now they're doing something else. Sauron's Ransom? Okay. I don't care that much about days anymore. If I can trick them into taking 2 lands, that'd be pretty cool. And then Reanimate I can counter with Cling to Dust. Nice, got him. Looks like they want to draw Sauron's Ransom, sure. Snapcaster Mage. Cool. That plays really well with Reflection. So we might actually get to do some stuff if we ever get a removal spell. Oh, we have one. Shield's Edict. Yes, I think we'll be just fine. I mean, we'll have to take a little more damage here. And we know their hand is just Polluted Delta. Counter target blue spell. I feel like if they printed Pyroblast today, it would actually say, like, destroy target blue spell. Alright, no block. Gotta keep this around, of course. And now we actually get to untap with Reflection, which rarely happens. Ooh, and a land. Let's see what they do. If they have an instant speed removal spell, that would be pretty bad. There was definitely an argument to just get my guaranteed value last turn. That's a bummer. And a land. I guess we'll gain 3 life here. Not feeling great though. That top deck really was really decisive. And I did not play around it by main phasing that. Kolaghan's Command. Hope it's not too late. Brainstorm. I think I should just let this happen, because if I have the chance to actually cast Bowmasters this turn, I should take it. Though it is tempting to Red Blast it, because we know they still have, or do they still have the Delta? I think so, yeah. Well, that happened. Well, let's see if this happens. It does, it does. I'm a little worried about what they found off Brainstorm. They're gonna bounce Reflection, sure. I should really take this block. Brainstorm. Well, let's actually just recommit the Fable here. Got in there on that, cool. Attack for 1 here. Gotta Red Blast that. They'll blow up Volcanic Island, sure. And I think I'm going to go to 2 here. Then see what I can do. If they have a Bowmasters, I think they'll commit it before The Fable trigger. Ponder, okay. No shuffle. That's worrying. And Plague Engineer, okay. Just a couple of lethal threats. Brazen Borrower's kind of cool, though. See if we can bounce this. Yep, okay. Ooh, reanimate. Sure. And another reanimate. Looks like they're just building out the board here. Lightning Bolt. Pretty close here. So I guess the move is just gain 3 life. Then I have quite a few live draws coming up. Let's see how they want to play this. I'll take the block on Plague Engineer, so if I draw Orcish Bowmasters, I guess that'd be lethal anyways. Alright, what you got for me? Snapcaster Mage, Lightning Bolt, Kolaghan's Command, Narset, not helpful. I guess that's the end for us, huh? Shoot, it was so close. Ah, well. I guess I can bolt Orcish Bowmasters and then Brainstorm. Ooh, okay. I think there's a route here. Just kind of need them to brick a little bit. Or not even really. I just need them to not block. I think if well, that would put me dead to Bowmasters, so maybe that's not good. And they're not going to block. Okay. Well, as long as I can draw K-Command next turn, I think we got it. Alright, got the GGs. Wow. Alright. Hard fought, but we put up that positive record. Looking back on things, we lost to Hogak, which my advice there is don't mess around with Hogak. It's scary. And then also lost to Temur Rhinos, which is a pretty difficult matchup as they apply really hard pressure really quickly. And then they also have traditional means of interaction like Force of Will and Fire Ice. But I'm still thinking of ways to make that matchup a little bit better. Didn't get to try out Roiling Vortex against them, though I don't think this is the best tool against Rhinos. The Vortex effect of taking 1 a turn is not really where you want to be against such an aggressive deck where you're stabilizing at 3 or 4 life sometimes. So yeah, we'll keep thinking about that one. It's pretty prominent online. I don't know if it's really taken the whole meta by storm just yet, but it's a popular deck and it's definitely powerful. So we might want to be thinking about that one in the future. Other than that, I'll probably keep trying out Vortex because Creative Technique is a pretty scary matchup as well. We don't apply pressure and the way that other control decks can. That was kind of the idea with Caves of Chaos Adventure, although Orcish Bowmasters is solving a lot of problems for us in that category. Ooh, well, I'm actually pretty brain dead, so that all of that might have not made sense. I'm going to get some rest, but for now, I hope you enjoyed the league, and I'll catch you all later.